Hey everyone, RogueGold here. Today, I think we need a little bit of a debriefing of this week's news dump. In case you somehow missed all of it, we got a bunch of Div 2 news, including the release date for the new content and the plans for news drops and whatnot leading up to the release. We got our first look at a component of this new update, which is the specialization revamp, which looks super sick, and I think is pretty indicative of just how major of an update this is going to end up being. And then we also got the announcement that the Division Heartland has been delayed, which is obviously less than fun, less than positive. And so yeah, a lot of stuff. Quite a shock to the system of trying to round it all up after months on end of no news. So in case you missed any of that, I will link all three of those videos in the description below. So now that we're past the news week, so to say, this is going to be our first analytical video of some of the announcements that we got. Whereas this week was spent with reactions and first thoughts, now I've had a chance to breathe and think about a little bit what we've heard, and this is the first topic I wanted to cover because it's important to acknowledge and understand the full scope, I'll say, and that is the release date of this new Division 2 content. Not the fact that it's delayed from what seemed to be the originally planned date of December, but that it's coming out now in a month with some serious competition, and that could lead to very real trouble for the game if this isn't handled smartly. So that's what we're diving into today. Very quickly, I want to also remind everybody that we currently have a giveaway going on the channel. All you have to do to enter is subscribe here or on my other socials. I will leave a link to that video in the description as well, with the other dozen of them, which details everything about that, in case you're curious. All right, well, let's get into this discussion, shall we? So, what myself and many others recognized as soon as we heard the news about Division 2's content coming in February is this is really brushing up close to an already predetermined busy period for gaming, including one of Division 2's biggest competitors in the looter-shooter genre. Let's take a peek at February's calendar, shall we? And let me just say, I'm being selective here. There are a lot more titles releasing beyond the big ones I'm about to mention. February 4th, Dying Light 2. February 18th, Horizon Forbidden West. February 22nd, Destiny 2's latest expansion, The Witch Queen. And then February 25th, both Elden Ring, which is one of the most anticipated titles of 2022, and the new Saints Row. Yeah, February is looking like it's going to be almost as big of a month as December would have been if they had released then. And what's funny about that is that a lot of these delays, a lot of the games that are coming out in February are because of delays. Right, everything that COVID delayed in 2021, including Division 2 stuff, is basically what's comprising February's release schedule, because the article pretty clearly lays out the Division 2 news one, that is, how they wanted to come out in December, and that didn't happen. Horizon Forbidden West was meant for holiday 2021, I think, and now it's there. The Witch Queen was meant for fall 2021, it got pushed there, and most recently, Elden Ring got bumped from January to February. So Division 2 has some contenders now, no doubt. And before I go on, let me just clarify, regardless of if you think Destiny is direct competition to the Division or not, it doesn't really matter. Big releases like Horizon, Witch Queen, Elden Ring are gonna pull people. Like, point blank period. A game doesn't have to have, direct correlation to another title, like in the same genre, to have a shared player base. And guess what? A large portion, or at least I won't say necessarily the majority, but a significant portion of Division's audience, myself included, are members of mainstream gaming. And while personally I'm not on PlayStation, so I can't play Horizon, Elden Ring genre doesn't really interest me, and while I am interested in The Witch Queen, Division is absolutely going to take my precedence. The same can't be said for the entire community. And by the time this update releases, it'll have been 14 months since the last big content drop for the game. And even though the article this week confirmed Year 4 content, more title updates in 2022, we want Division to make a big splash when it returns. It can do nothing but help. And I'm just a bit worried that it has a harder chance of doing that now that it's releasing in the same month as so many of these other big releases. Now, I do think this could be largely avoided if they released in early February. If we take a look at the calendar, we know that big T releases always happen on Tuesdays. That's the maintenance day. The first of the month is a Tuesday, so February 1st or the 8th would be ideal. But unfortunately, let me explain to you why I don't think that'll be the case. If you didn't know, every year Massive takes a holiday break around the Christmas time of year. Back when they did stay the game regularly, we would always expect a few week gap at this period of time, so usually the last week or 2 weeks of December through mid-January. Looking at the January calendar, I would say most likely they'll come back to work on either Monday the 10th or the 17th. Okay, which is all well and fine, but what else do we know is happening in January? Both the reveal of this entire update, or at least the core content, that being the game mode and the season, the article said we'd be getting full details on those things in January, all right, and then also the PTS. And now maybe you're beginning to see how the time is stacking up here. Let's say they do a reveal as soon as they get back to their offices, so Tuesday the 11th or the 18th, it's fair to say they'll reveal the content and then probably announce the PTS begins at the end of that week. You know, they've done that multiple times in the past. Okay, well then the PTS usually runs for like 3 weeks. They've done 2-week ones before, and they don't usually amount to much because it's not quite enough time for them to implement and test multiple phases. But who knows? All of this to say, if they aren't getting started on this process of revealing the new content, hosting the PTS, and finalizing and sending in the patch for verification on consoles, if that doesn't all get underway until mid-January, then I don't see a way in which this content drops before February 15th of 2022. And in fact, this is a date that I'm now going to predict we'll see this update go live. And why, you may ask? Well, the answer is actually right in front of us. If you take a gander onto the Division 2's live servers, you'll see that Season 7 of the Division 2 is scheduled to end on February 14th, or the 15th, at midnight. That's right, this is the date that came with the season when it began, and it's the same date that Yannick told us not to look into because it was supposedly an arbitrary date they chose. Now let me clarify, I don't think Yannick purposefully lied to us. Another thing I picked up from the wording of this article is that it was more of a recent decision for them to postpone this update, or maybe not recent, but after deciding to move from the December date, them and Yubi were still nailing down all the details of when everything was going to take place. That's not something you just decide on, you know, in the span of one day and then announce the next day, right? And so while February 15th may have been arbitrary or not internally confirmed when Season 7 went live, it's now the date I think they're targeting. That's 1 week before the Witch Queen, which is not ideal, but it is better than the same day or the week after that releases because that's going to snatch up a lot of thunder once it drops. So at least the 15th gives Division a short window to make some buzz, even though Horizon will be 3 days later. Now, I don't entirely know how this December event they announced will fit in, the one that will rerun some of our favorite global events, Golden Bullet, and have some new rewards in a new apparel event. I don't know if that will overlay or integrate with Season 7, or if they might end Season 7 before that begins. I don't know. I assume they'll keep Season 7 running until the new content drops, just to give people something to do. But regardless of how that plays out, mid-February, specifically February 15th, is the new date I'm predicting we're going to see Division 2's new update drop, which brushes up dangerously close with some big competition for the game, but ultimately, there's not much we can do, other than wait and see if Division is able to weather the storm, and of course, I certainly hope it can. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on to be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts on this whole ordeal with the release date. When in February do we think Division 2's new content will realistically release? And how dire do you evaluate the threat of Horizon, The Witch Queen, Elden Ring, and these other big games as being? I think this is absolutely an important topic to be raising and discussing, so I'll be very curious to hear everyone's thoughts. But yeah, folks, that is going to wrap it up for this one. I'm so glad we're finally out of the news drought. Not even the content drought, but just the news drought. We know the plan moving forward. We know when we're getting more news and game updates and the new content's release, and I really can't wait for all of it. So much more to talk about, but that's going to do it for me on this one. Everyone, once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until the next one, guys, RogueGold out.